discuss now about land use, natural resources, and energy. As human populations grow, demands on natural resources continue to intensify. Land use and environmental policy must keep pace with ever-changing science, economies, technologies, and resource conditions with attention to climate change implications. Land is an essential natural resource both for the survival and prosperity of humanity and for the maintenance of all terrestrial ecosystems. Over millennia, people have become progressively more expert in exploiting land resources for their own ends. The limits on these resources are finite, while human demands on them are not. Increased demand or pressure on land resources shows up as declining crop production, degradation of land quality and quantity, and competition for land. Attention should now be focused on the role of humankind as stewards rather than exploiters, charged with the responsibility of safeguarding the rights of unborn generations and of conserving land as the basis of the global ecosystem. Land and land resources refer to a delineable area of the Earth's terrestrial surface, encompasses all attributes of the biosphere immediately above or below the surface, including those of the near-surface climate, the soil and terrain forms. The surface hydrology, including shallow lakes, rivers, marshes, and swamps. The near-surface sedimentary layers and unshated groundwater and geohydrological reserve, the plant and animal populations, the human settlement pattern and physical result for past and present human activity, terracing, water storage or drainage structures, roads, buildings, etc. Natural resources are materials created in nature that are used and usable by humans. They include natural substances, soil and water, and energy supplies, coal and gas, that serve to satisfy human needs and wants. Natural resources are a component of the environmental setting. The environmental setting embraces the totality of materials, features, and processes of landscapes. These environmental settings give the regions of the world their own quite specific and distinctive settings with different options and concerning the transmutations of materials and energy. The materials, features, and processes which are usable constitute the potential of the landscape. Natural resources are usually either renewable or non-renewable. The former refer to those resources that can renew themselves in time. These include living resources like forests or non-living ones like wind, water, and solar energy. Non-renewable resources, as the name implies, are those that can no longer be tapped once the available stock at a site is exhausted. Once we use them, there isn't any more. Mineral resources are non-renewable. Fossil fuels, which are formed from the fossilized remnants of prehistoric organisms, are also considered non-renewable, even though they can renew themselves given a few million years. Fossil fuels currently account for about 90% of the world's energy consumption. They provide around 66% of the world's electrical power and 95% of the world's total energy demands, such as overheating, transport, electricity generation, and so on. Our consumption of fossil fuels has nearly doubled about every 20 years, which is quite an alarming statistic given that their levels are running dangerously low. Natural renewable resources such as wind and water have been used throughout history until recently were a predominant energy source. In many developing countries, biomass remains the primary energy source for much of the population. Renewable sources have the advantage of producing lower emissions of the carbon dioxide and reducing reliance on fossil fuels. The Earth's natural resources are finite, which means that if we use them continuously, we will eventually exhaust them. This basic observation is undeniable. But another way of looking at the issue is far more relevant to assessing people's well-being. Our exhaustible and irreproducible natural resources, if measured in terms of their prospective contribution to human welfare, can actually increase year after year, perhaps never coming anywhere near exhaustion. What are natural resources? Natural resources are those resources that occur within the environment in their original and natural form, undisturbed by humanity. They take years to form without the invention of humans. The Mother Earth is abundant with natural resources that develop on this planet using its surrounding environment. Thus, the natural resources are mostly derived from the environment. While a few of them are used for our survival, like water and air, the rest of them, like coal, gas, and oil, is used for satisfying our daily needs. Types of natural resources. Natural resources are derived from the environment. Some of the resources are essential to survival, while others merely satisfy societal wants. Every man-made product and economy is composed of natural resources to some degree. There are numerous ways to classify the types of natural resources. They include the source of origin, the state of development, and the renewability of the resources. In terms of the source of origin, natural resources can be divided into the following types: biotic and abiotic. Biotic. This resource came from living and organic material, such as forests and animals, and include the materials that can be obtained them. Biotic natural resources also include fossil fuels such as coal and petroleum, which are formed from organic matter that has decayed. Abiotic. These resources come from non-living and non-organic material. Examples of these resources include land, fresh water, air, and heavy metals like gold, iron, copper, silver, etc. People use many of the Earth's natural resources. All of the products we use have a natural resources base. Minerals, forest products, water, and soil are just a few of the natural resources humans use to produce energy and make things people use. Some natural resources can be reproduced within a few years or decades. These are called renewable resources. Trees are an example of a renewable resource. Oil, minerals, and soil take hundreds, thousands, and even millions of years to be made. These are called non-renewable resources. Sometimes resources become so rare, they can no longer be used. In these cases, substitute resources may be used, which may take a poorer quality product or one that is more expensive. If substitutes cannot be used, some products could no longer be made. Wise use of resources includes not throwing away products that are usable and recyclable. When these products are used or recycled, it maintains resource availability, uses less landfill space, and uses less energy.